Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. The channel is called Votann are Insane and they have the most insane units in the game. All of them are amazing. We got exploding sixes, we got scouts 6 inches. What else do you want? Welcome back to Theory Hammer. We're going over the Votann today. This army is outrageous. We're going to go over their points, we're going to talk about their good units, and we're going to kind of break down what they can do and some of their combos. So if you like that kind of content, thunder hammer the like button, or I guess mass hammer the like button in this one. Hit Nurgle's bell icon, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment down below, and check out our other videos as well. We got all kinds of content out there, and we're making more, and you're going to want to see some of it. So we're going to get right into this. We're going to talk about this army, because the whole army can scout 6 inches, and the whole army can have like exploding 6 las cannons, which are pretty good, I hear. My microphone fell off. Alright, if your army faction is Leagues of Votann, each time an enemy unit destroys a Leagues of Votann unit from your army, that enemy unit gains 1 judgment token. Okay. An enemy unit can never have more than 2 judgment tokens. Any further judgment tokens are ignored. Each time a model from your army with this ability makes an attack that targets a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens, until that model's attacks have been resolved, apply the relevant bonus from the table below to that attack. +1 to the hit roll, if they have 1, +2 to the wound roll if they have another one. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. It gets way worse. Designer's note, put a judgment token by stuff. I'm pretty sure that's all that says. If a unit with a judgment token is removed from the battlefield, make a note of how many judgment tokens it had when it was removed. Okay, so yeah, track how many tokens it has on it. Great. Let's talk about their detachment rule, because this is where things start going off the rails very, very quickly. You got Ruthless Efficiency. At the start of the battle, select a number of units from your opponent's army depending on the battle size, as shown below. In a game that we're talking about, which is going to be 2,000 points or a strike force, it's 4 units. You pick 4 of their units. Each of those units starts the battle with 2 judgment tokens on them. So you're +1 to hit them, and you're +1 to wound them. The +1 to wound them is the better part of that. So right off the bat, 4 of your opponent's units are just marked for death. So it's really, really strong. And you can also add judgment tokens to things with a bunch of different abilities. So we'll get to those, but first we're going to have to go over this. So if at the start of your command phase, any of those units have been destroyed, you gain a number of CP, depending on how early in the battle you destroyed it, as shown to the right. Now you can only gain CP this way once per battle, and the CP gained this way is an exception to the core rules where you can only gain max of 1. So some of these allow you to get 3 right here. So if you destroy this unit at the start of your first or second command, or before, destroyed by the start, so before, you get 3 command points for that. That is so good. Like what? Even if you don't do that. So if the unit that you picked is destroyed by the start of your 3rd or 4th command phase, you get 2 CP. And then if it's by your 5th, you gain 1. So you're hopefully always going to get at least 1 off of this. Probably going to get 2, maybe get 3, because it's the 1st or 2nd command phase. If any of the units are destroyed, not all of them, if any of them. So this is so easy to do. Yeah, so this is just crazy strong. You pick your opponent's 4 best units, and they're just dead. Like against my terrible fucking army that I've been using right now, it'd be probably both my land raiders and both the units inside. Like they're just dead, like instant death. Okay, so that's what this gives you. Super duper strong. This whole army is just, every single thing you read pretty much is like, that's really good. Stratagems next. Warrior's Pride, 1 CP, battle tactics, fight phase, 1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army that was, and 1 enemy unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens and within range, engagement range of your Votann unit. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a melee attack that targets that unit, you improve the armor penetration by 1 for each judgment token that they have on them. So if you're hitting in combat with AP 1, now it's AP 3. If you're hitting in combat with AP 2, now it's AP 4. So this is really good. Really, really good. It would be good enough, it would be okay if it was just AP extra by 1. What fights phase, 1 CP, battle tactics, so you could do it for free potentially, if there's any units in this army that do that. But the fact that it can go up to 2 is like, what? It just cuts through things. So very, very strong. Off to a good start. We got a great detachment rule, a great army rule, and you have a good detachment or a good stratagem immediately. Oh, but then you have another one, which is Ordered Retreat. Strategic Ploy, 1 CP. It's in your movement phase just after a unit in your army falls back. So you pick that unit, it's eligible to shoot and declare charge. Like, god fucking damn it. So that can be a Terminator squad, of the Brick of Terminators or whatever. This could be the dude with the heavy weapons. They're just like, no, I'm just gonna fall back and I'm gonna just shoot your tank dead, and that's just how I'm gonna do it. Or I'm just gonna shoot something completely different. This could be on a tank, if you really need it to be, like a land fortress. It's just so good on literally everything. Warrior Pride, this is gonna be good on your Terminator guys, because I'm pretty sure they're AP1 base, if you take like their hammer thing. Or it's gonna be really good on the, oh man, the Thunder, the dudes with the hammers, okay? It's really good on them, because they become AP4, and they just kill you, because they're +1 to hit you, they're +1 to wound you, and then they're AP4. It's just nonsense. Alright, so then you have Ancestral Sentence. Your shooting phase, 1 CP, battle tactics as well, so you could get this one for free. 1 Leagues of Votann unit from your army, so that's the target obviously. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack, that attack has sustained hits 1, and each time a model in your unit makes a ranged attack that targets a unit that has 1 or more judgment tokens on it, you get sustained hits 2 instead. So what you can do with this is you can have a call, and he can be like, you get a judgment token, and then your unit can be like, okay cool, we now have sustained hits 2 against that unit. That seems pretty good, especially when you have like the Brokir Thunderkin, and they're shooting their anti-gravity tank guns at you, and they get sustained hits 2 with them. It's like, what the fuck, dude? It's 3 good stratagems in a row, 2 of which are battle tactic. Then you have a third battle tactic. This one is 2 CP, but I don't actually know if you can get them for free on anything. I assume there's probably something in this codex. I don't remember, I should say, because I've read through this a few times, and I think there's one that does it, but we'll get there. This is in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit resolves its attacks. You target the unit that was the target of their attacks. They get to shoot back. The whole unit of guys with Terminators, if you kill a couple of your Terminators, you get to then shoot back at them with all of your other Terminators that are still alive. So, 2 CP, and we'll see if it can be done for free, but seems good. Seems like we have 4 good stratagems in a row. This army is definitely not insanely OP at all. It's completely fine and doesn't need to be nerfed again. Newfound Nemesis, this is a strategic ploy stratagem for 1 CP. This is in your opponent's shooting phase, or the fight phase, just after an enemy unit has resolved its attacks. 1 Leagues of Votann infantry or Leagues of Votann mounted unit from your army that was reduced to below half strength as a result of the attacks. The attacking unit gains 1 judgment token, or up to 2 judgment tokens instead if that Leagues of Votann unit contained your warlord. This is probably the worst one. I'm not even kidding. This is pretty good, but not that great. They have to have been reduced below half strength, and it can only be infantry or biker dudes. So this unit's gonna end up dying anyway, and then they're gonna just gain a judgment token anyway. They may already have judgment token on them. You have abilities where you can just put judgment tokens on things. So I don't think you need Newfound Nemesis. You can probably forget that exists. And then you got Void Armor. I wonder what that could be. Could it be Armor of Contempt? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's Armor of Contempt. It's just not a battle tactic stratagem. It is 1 CP. It's in your opponent's shooting or fight phase. Just after the enemy unit selects its targets, you target your unit that was the target of their attacks, and then until the end of the phase, you worsen their armor penetration characteristic by 1. So, yeah, about how this army has, like, is really, what the fuck is going on here? This is crazy already. So, Appraising Glare. Leagues of Votann model only. In your command phase, you can select an objective marker your opponent controls until the start of your next command phase. While that unit is within range of that objective marker, it counts as having 1 more judgment token than it actually has. It's so good. So your call is just like, hey, I'm going to pick this objective marker. Yeah, I'm going to pick this objective marker. You now count as having 1 extra judgment token. And then I'm going to also pick this unit to have a judgment token on it. So now it has 2 judgment tokens, basically. And it's +1 to hit and +1 to wound. Like, what the fuck? A long list. Each time the bearer's unit destroys an enemy unit, if that enemy unit has 1 or more judgment tokens, you can select 1 other enemy unit that is visible to the bearer. They also gain a judgment token. Not bad. Praising Glare is a number of points. 20 points. So, take that. That's an auto take. Absolutely an auto take. You're just like, you control that objective marker? Cool. Like, you don't have to be able to see it. It's just in your command phase, select 1 objective marker your opponent controls. Crazy good. That's very, very good. Okay, so long list. It's 15 points. Not bad, but not great. Grim Demeanor. You can reroll Battleshock tests, and models in that unit can ignore any or all modifiers to their characteristics and or to any tests or whatever. Yeah, okay. So it's just like another super duper good one. Probably auto-takey. Pretty auto-takey. Maybe. Better in combat than shooting, because your dudes are only 1 damage. Actually, no, their plasma guns are 2 damage if you take the plasma guns. But the Volkites are better because they're devastating wounds, so you're probably going to want Volkite. But yeah, Grim Demeanor, pretty good. Ignoring all the things, it's good. 3 good enhancements so far. Grim Demeanor, 20 points. So same as Appraising Glare. And then the last one is the Wayfarer's Grace. The first time the bear is destroyed, after placing a judgment token next to the unit that destroyed it, roll a d6 on a 2-up. You set the bear back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of any enemy units with its full wounds remaining. Wayfarer's Grace, 25 points. This is pretty good, but not good enough. And I say that because there aren't any characters that you really, really want this to be on. Except for the dude with the hammer. God, what is he called? Einherjar Champion? It's good on an Einherjar Champion. I just don't know if you really care enough to put it on an Einherjar Champion. Look, if you got the points for it, slap it on an Einherjar Champion, make him come back to life, be like 2-up to do it, I'm Celestine now, even though I'm a dwarf, and do the thing. I just don't think it's, for its points, I don't think it's as good as the other 2. The Appraising Glare, Grim Demeanor, rocking out with those for sure. Then you have Uthar the Destined. All right, so I have a hot take on Uthar the Destined. Where is this guy? He's 90 points, and my hot take is that he's actually bad. Because everything else in this army is amazing. He's a leader, he has Eye of the Ancestors, everything in the army has Eye of the Ancestors, and then he has Ancestral Fortune. Once per turn, he can just make a wound roll or a hit roll a 6. So he's going to make a wound roll 6 and automatically do 2 dev wounds to something. Fine. Each time an attack is allocated to this model, change the damage characteristic of that attack to 1. This actually makes him extremely durable. Yeah, he can just tank damage all day long. He's got a 4-up invuln. He can give his unit a 5-up invuln as well. And then once per battle round, you can just select a unit that's visible to this guy. They gain a judgment token. Grim Demeanor, Grim Efficiency. So he's actually not completely unusable. He's bad, but he's not unusable. Compared to the other stuff in this index anyway, he's bad. He's an epic hero, but he can be attached to Einherjar Hearthguard and Hearthkin Warriors. Then you have the Call. This guy is similar to Uthar. He's got toughness 5, 5 move, save 3, 4 wounds though instead of 5, but leadership 7 and 1 OC. He also has a 4-up invuln. Volkite Disintegrator, that's the thing that we just saw on Uthar, basically. Same exact thing. 3 shots, strength 5, AP 0, 1 damage, hitting on 2s with dev wounds. This guy can take either a Plasma Axe or a Mass Gauntlet. So the Mass Gauntlet has 3 attacks, strength 8, AP 2, but a flat 3 damage, hitting on 3s. Or you can take a Plasma Axe, which is 4 attacks, hitting on 2s with a Power Sword profile. Mastercrafted Power Sword. Strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage. So you're not taking this guy for his output. His Mass Hammer is cool with 3 damage. You're taking him because of his abilities. And the Call is not very expensive. He's only 70 points. So this guy is silly. He's silly willy. He's a leader. He's got Eye of Ancestors. He's the kindred hero. While he's leading a unit, they gain lethal hits, shooting, and combat. So they have +1 to hit a unit, +1 to wound a unit, and the lethal hits on the unit. This guy is good in anything that he's attached to. And then once per battle round, he can just pick a unit that's within line of sight of him and give them a judgment token. It's in your command phase, so he has to be able to see them before he moves. But it's just like, dude, what? So 70 points. You tell me, is this good for 70 points, considering that he helps your army, gives you lethal hits, and is pretty good in combat? He can get Deep Strike as well, with his Teleport Crest. Or, yeah, models in this unit, as long as he's leading a unit, have Deep Strike. So, just pretend he has Deep Strike as well. He's 70 points. He's an infantry character, Call. Uthar, we didn't go over his stuff, but he's an infantry character, epic hero. So the Call, really, really good. He has a Rampart Crest, but you should probably replace that with a Teleport Crest if possible. I don't think the other guys, the Einherjar Guard guys, I don't think that they have Deep Strike normally, so you have to have a character attached to them to give it to them. We'll get to them in a second. They're also insanely good, even with their points update from the balanced data slate. They did not go up enough points. 70 points of absolute nonsense bullshit. Einherjar Champion. This guy's good. He's just... I wish he was a lone op, because then he could just deep strike down. Actually, he can't deep strike down, because his teleport crest, he has to be leading a unit. So you actually can't do that, which is why I actually don't like the thing on him. That's the reason I couldn't think of before when I was talking about it. The come back to life on a 2-up, good on this guy if he could teleport in by himself. But he can't. So this guy's good though. I'll go over him. He is movement 5, toughness 6 with a 2-up save, 5 wounds, leadership 7, OC 1. He can take either a Dark Star Axe, 6 attacks on 2s, strength 6, AP 2, 2 damage, so Grey Knights. Mass Hammer, 3 attacks, weapon skill 3, but strength 12, AP 2, and D6 plus 1 damage on that. So those are his 2 options. The Einherjar Champion is like 75 points or something. Where are you? He's 60 points. He's 15 points cheaper than I said. So he's very cheap. 70 points for a call. 60 points for an Einherjar Champion. Like, they're very good. Even though I don't like them, they're very good and they're very competitive. And so far, we've gotten 1 bad unit in the Codex and 2 very competitive units in the Codex. And the first one wasn't even bad. It's just bad in this thing. While he's leading a unit, you can reroll charge rolls for that unit. So you're going to put him with the Terminator guys. So if they deep strike down, he can then allow them to reroll their charges, which is nice to have because then you're not spending a CP on that. And then each time he ends a charge move, you can select 1 enemy unit within an engagement range of this unit, roll d6, 2 to 5, d3 mortal wounds, 6, d3 plus 3 mortal wounds, just to fuck you. The fact that he allows you to reroll charges, give you some extra damage output, he's pretty durable himself, but not that you can tank wounds on characters anymore. But his war gear abilities are why you would want to take him. You're going to take the teleport crest because while he's leading a unit, you can deep strike. The 4-up invuln on him, I don't think you really need it. I think that the dude can give that to the unit, the actual Einherjar, Hearthguard, Einherjar stuff. I'm never going to remember these names ever in my life. I'm just going to call them Mass Hammerman or something like that because there's way too many fucking names in this game now. So he can take a Dark Star Axe or a Mass Hammer, and then his Weave Field Crest can be replaced with a Teleport Crest. So getting his Mass Hammer up to plus 2 AP makes it AP 4. So he can smack some vehicles pretty hard with that thing, and then his attached unit as well. It's just like, there's just so much you can do with this army, and this guy is really good for 60 points. Like, I don't know how you leave home without one of these guys. Like, realistically, the list that I would run would have one of these guys in one of the units, and then would have a call in another unit. Probably. I would probably have like 5 Sagitaurs or maybe a couple of Sagitaurs and the land fortresses, which we'll get to in a little bit. There's so much, like everything in their army is very, very good, and it did not go up in points enough, except for the Sagitaur. I think the Sagitaur is right where it needs to be now, because fuck the Sagitaur. That thing is outrageously good. At least it was when it was 100 points. The Grimnir is also very good. Like, this isn't even like a Tactica because there's so many good units. Like, the whole thing is just good, and they're all good in all the ways that they need to be good. And so there's nothing to like break down or discuss. Just like, yeah, you can give a unit sustained hits too. Like, whatever, no big deal. You can be Space Marines and give them Armor of Contempt. No big deal. You can fly into combat and be AP 4. Whatever, no big deal. Oh, you're gonna charge me? I'm gonna fall back and still be able to shoot this turn and charge if I want to. Like, they're like Eldar, dude. They can just do everything. Grimnir is also a very good character. He's movement of 5, toughness of 5, 4-up save, 4 wounds, leadership 6, OC 1. And then he's got, I think, 2 of these little Corv boys with him. Yeah, 2 Corvs. He has this Ancestral Wrath, which you're always going to overcharge. It's a psychic weapon, so you're always going to overcharge this because this is its profile. Strength 6, AP 2, damage D3, 24-inch range, hitting on 2s. The Grimnir is 65 points. He's not super tanky or anything, but, I mean, he's toughness 5, but he's only got a 4-up save. He does have a 4-up invuln, though. So, like, they're just annoying, you know? And then his little Corv boys are with him as well. He has Fortify. While this model is leading a unit, improve the toughness characteristic of models in that unit by 1. So he puts all your stuff up to toughness 6. All your basic infantry up to toughness 6. Grimnir Regard, once per battle. Once this model's unit fails a battle shock test, it can use this ability. If it does, it's no longer battle shocked. So, sucks that it's a battle shock ability on this guy, but that is actually pretty good because you might fail battle shock sometimes, and it might matter once in a while. And when this guy's in the unit, it doesn't matter anymore. So this guy's pretty good. He's not as good as the other guy we'll get to, like the Iron Master guy. This guy's good for shooting though. He isn't bad. You'll definitely take one sometimes because they can just kind of chill on a backfield objective or something and do the battle shock thing if you battle shock them for some reason. I don't know. They're 65 points, dude. Like, they're not bad at all. The Iron Master here is also very good. Wait. Yeah, they're both 65 points. So they're the identical points. This guy repairs your vehicles though, which is why I like him more. Moves 5, toughness 5, 4 up save, 4 wounds, leadership 7, OC 1. Does not have an invuln though. He's just by him. He's without an invuln. He does have some dudes with him though. He's got this assistant thing, which is the same profile except it has 2 wounds instead of 4. And then he has this ECOG thing, which is also the same profile except 1 wound instead of 2. So it's a 3-man unit of guys like the guy above, and they're able to repair vehicles, which is nice. So I'm just going to talk about that now. At the end of your movement phase, it's not like Marines where it's in the command phase, which is awful. It needs to be in the movement phase. You need to change that, GW. Everything just needs to be in the movement phase for like abilities like that. Getting ahead of myself though, you pick a unit within 3 inches of it, like a vehicle or an exoframe, so he can repair like the big chunky dudes, which is awesome. They regain D3 lost wounds. Or 3 lost wounds if it contains an Iron Here assistant guy. So as long as you have this guy still alive, this unit just auto repairs 3 wounds on something. That's awesome. It's 65 points. So they've got some guns here. The Autarch Pattern Bolt Pistol, it's 1 shot, ballistic skill 3, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1, and then the Graviton Rifle. This is anti-infantry 2, 18-inch range, 3 shots, strength 5, AP 3, or AP 1, damage 3 flat. 3 shots it has. With anti-vehicle 2+. Why is it 3 shots? Like any other army in the game, this would be 1 shot, maybe 2. Why is it 3? It's just insane. So that's really good. Then he's got this las beam cutter, 6-inch range, 1 shot, hitting on 4s, strength 6, AP 3, and damage 1. So I'm not sure which guy has what. We'll talk about that in a second. He does have the gravitation hammer though, which is anti-vehicle 2 up, 3 attacks, hitting on 4s though. So not amazing there, but it's strength 9, AP 1, and damage 3. So if he does find himself needing to get into combat with a lighter vehicle, something that maybe has like a 4-up save, then he may actually kill it. You get 2 hits on it, 2 wounds on it because it's AP 2, or anti-vehicle 2, then it's going to get like a 5-up save, and maybe you'll kill it with that 6 damage. He's not meant to go into combat and kill stuff, but he has that ability. So, and for 65 points, like, I am just blown away by how insane this army is. So yeah, also while he's leading a unit, models in that unit, each time they shoot, they get +1 to the hit roll. So only when they shoot. But being able to repair 3 lost wounds, yeah, oh my god, he comes with 3 ECOGs, so he's got 3 ablative wounds and 1 assistant. He's got the Graviton Rifle and the Graviton Hammer. The las beam cutter guy is what's on the assistant, and a close combat weapon. And then each one of these ECOG things is equipped with the bolter thing, or the bolt pistol thing. And one other ECOG dude is a plasma torch, and one has manipulator arms. So a bunch of different stuff there. Some of your manipulator arms are a combat weapon, it's just strength 3. The plasma torch is also a combat weapon, it's strength 6, AP 3, and 2 damage with 1 attack hitting on 4s. And then your close combat weapon, you don't care about that. These guys can be attached to Hearthkin Warriors or Brokir Thunderkin. So you attach these to Brokir Thunderkin for sure, because then they get +1 to their hit roll. Oh my god, dude. They get +1 to their hit roll. So stupid. And sustained hits 2. +1 to their hit roll, sustained hits 2, +1 to their wound roll. Like, what? Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Alright, Hearthkin Warriors. Also very good. These guys, how many points are these guys? Hearthkin Warriors are 110 points for 10. So they're good still. They're 5-inch move, toughness 5, 4-up save, 1 wound, leadership 7, OC 2. Whole bunch of different weapons here. They have Eye of the Ancestors, and then luck has, need keeps, toils earned. God, that was hard to say. At the end of your command phase, if they're within range of an objective marker, they sticky it. So it remains under your control. So good. So they have sticky objectives. Then they can take a couple of different options here. The Pan Spectral Scanner gives their ranged weapons, ignores cover. The Comms Array gives you back CP on a 5-up. The Medipack gives you a 6-up, feel no pain. Then you can take a Wheatfield Crest, which gives the Sergeant a 4-up invuln. All models in the unit can have their pattern bolter thing replaced with an ion blaster, so you do that to start. 2 dudes can have their blaster thing replaced with a high-las rifle, rotary cannon, missile launcher, plasma beamer, rail rifle, and then 1 dude can have the kin melee weapon. Up to 3 different guys can be equipped with the Autarch pattern bolter or ion blaster, can each be equipped with one of the following: a medipack, a comms array, and a pan-spectral scanner. So they can have one of these, and you can have one of each in each unit. Ignores cover, gets stuff back, 6 up, feel no pain. This unit is 110 points, remember. So, and they only have 4 up saves, right? Yeah. So, only 1 wound, 4 up saves, but that doesn't matter because they're sticky objectives. They can take a bunch of stuff. Their toughness 5, so a lot of stuff's wounding them on 5s just to start. They don't have 3 up saves, so they're going to be getting +1 against AP 0 if they're in cover. They're pretty good for 105 or 110 points. The Thean's Autarch pattern bolt pistol can be replaced with the plasma pistol or an ion pistol, and then the Thean's Autarch pattern bolt thing can be replaced with a kin melee weapon. So, that's what you do. You give him the kin melee weapon, maybe give another guy a kin melee weapon, and then take a plasma rifle thing, or a rail rifle thing. But yeah, this unit's really good. So, again, another insane unit for this army. They're going to be +1 to hit, +1 to wound with their plasma blast gun thing. They're going to be +1 to hit, +1 to wound with their heavy weapons. In combat, that dude's going to be +1 to hit, +1 to wound with his strength 5, AP 2, damage 2 gun, or melee weapon. They sticky objectives. You can actually split this unit in half as well, so you can sticky multiple objectives, because the Sagitaur, fuck the Sagitaur, it can split guys in half. Iron here, Hearthguard, so this is the main show. These guys did not go up enough. They're 160 points for 5 or 320 for 10. 5-inch move, toughness 6. 2 up save. 2 wounds, so not great there. Leadership 7 and an OC of 1. Each one of these guys can either have a plasma gun, which is 1 shot at strength 8, AP 3, damage 2. Everything's hitting on 3s for these guys also. So strength 8, AP 3, damage 2. 1 shot at 24 inches. Or you can take the Volkite Disintegrator, which is devastating wounds, 18-inch range, 3 shots. BS3, of course, like I just said, strength 5, AP 0, damage 1. But each one of them can have one, so that's 30 shots with dev wounds. With sustained hits too. So, a lot of shooting. Hitting on 2s, +1 to wound, it will just delete units. That's not it though. They also have this Exo Armor Grenade Launcher, which is a blast weapon. It's basically like a Fragstorm grenade launcher. It's an 18-inch range with blast, D6 shots, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. Each one of these guys has one of these things. So if you're shooting at like a Cursed Cultist or something, each one of these guys is going to be putting out at least 3 extra shots, so a minimum of 4, average of 6 to 7, plus their devastating wound gun, all +1 to hit, all +1 to wound, with sustained hits too. I don't care if you have a 4-up invuln in that unit, it is deleted. Like, completely deleted. If you're getting sustained hits 2 on 30 dice, you're going to get 5 6s, which is 10 additional hits. 5 of them will miss, so you'll get 35 hits with just your Volkite things, right? Pretty sure that's the math of it. With the other one, you're going to get 6 attacks apiece. Let's call it on average. 6 attacks apiece, just for easy math. 60 hits. 50 hits. 5 of them are going to be 6s. 70 hits. Oh my god, 70 hits, dude. +1 to wound. So you're wounding on 3s at that point, so that's going to be, I don't know, it's like 45 wounds. Call it 45 wounds. It's 45 wounds. They have a 4-up invuln. Okay, they fail half, plus the other things that were there, the other 30 hits that you got hit with. They will just delete units, dude. Any horde unit, this unit will delete. But then in combat, they have a bunch of different options as well. Concussion Gauntlet, Concussion Hammers, and then Plasma Blades. I'm pretty sure the regular guys get the Gauntlet. Strength 9, AP 2, damage 2. You can make this AP 4. So, hitting on 2s, +1 to wound, AP 4. It's just like, dude, 18 attacks, 15 hits, +1 to wound. I don't even know what I'm attacking. I'm attacking a tank of some kind, or Terminators. Let's say I'm attacking Terminators. I wound them on 2s, so call it 12 wounds for easy math. It's AP 2, so that'll do Armor of Contempt. Well, this is going to be AP 4 now. So Armor of Contempt doesn't mean shit. And yeah, it's just crazy, dude. Like, you're gonna kill like 3 or 4 Terminators with that. Yeah, and that's after you shoot at them with a whole bunch of devastating wounds. The amount of damage these guys can do, just from the sheer volume of saves they're gonna make you take, like, they don't even need to have an AP. So, very, very good unit. I know I spent a lot of time talking about these guys. That's because they're so fucking good. While a character is leading this unit, each time an attack targets this unit, the strength characteristic of that attack is greater than their toughness. Subtract 1 from the wound roll. Are you strength 12? You're wounding me on 2s, now you're wounding me on 3s. That's pretty cool. This unit is really durable, puts out a ton of fucking firepower. It can deep strike because you can take the teleport crest. It's good in combat. It gets +1 to hit, +1 to wound on its targets, like all the time. The whole army's getting +1 to hit and +1 to wound practically on the targets that you care about. +2 AP, sustained hits 2, void armor on these guys in cover, makes them just as durable as Terminators. They only have 2 wounds at that point, but they're only 320 points instead of around 400 points. So it allows you to take 2 units of them. So yeah, like, crazy good unit when you consider all of their stratagems and all their enhancements, like be able to put, what is it, a fucking judgment token on stuff. So that is super duper good. These guys are out of control. They're not expensive enough. They went up like 2 points a model. They all have the Ectocarn Plasma Gun, Exo Armor Grenade Launchers, and Concussion Gauntlets, and then the Weave Field Crest. You can replace that with a Teleport Crest, which you will maybe do. I guess that allows you to give the a character that's attached a different crest, which is nice. You can give them like a 4-up invuln or something instead. I don't think we talked about the hammer. So the hammer is 3 attacks hitting on 4s, but hitting on 3s. Strength 9, AP 1, damage 3. So AP 3, damage 3, hitting on 3s. That'll kill an extra Terminator. This unit is insane. Like, through and through. It can deep strike into cover maybe. It can rapid ingress, deep strike anywhere it wants behind something, and then it can just kill you the next turn. It's not good it's not bad in shooting, it's not bad in combat, it's cheap, it's durable, like it benefits from all the army rules, it benefits from all the detachment abilities, it benefits from your stratagems, enhancements. It's alright, and then we have the Chthonian Berserks. That's who I was thinking of before. These guys are also hilariously good. These guys are a little expensive. Where are the Berserks? Chthonian Berserks, 100 points for 5 of them. Or 200 for 10. But you don't need 10, you only need 5. 2 wounds, leadership 7, OC 1. But they have a 5-up feel no pain. So it actually makes them somewhat durable. Because now when you're taking a 2 damage hit, there's a good chance you'll actually make one of those 5-up saves. And be able to tank 2. You can take this Mole Grenade Launcher, it's blast, indirect fire. Take 1 in every unit. It's D6 shots with 24-inch range, strength 5, AP 1, damage 1. You don't take it for the ability, or for this, you take it for the ability it gives you, which is the Subterranean Explosives. These dudes have good combat. They can take concussion mauls or a heavy plasma axe thing. I'm pretty sure that's their options. And then you have a twin concussion gauntlet, which probably goes on somebody special. Your concussion maul has 3 attacks, hitting on 4s, strength 9, AP 2, damage 3. But it's actually hitting on 3s, it's +1 to wound, and it's actually AP 4. So you can see how that would probably kill something. These guys are not too crazy though, because they're worth their points. They're 100 points for 5. So they're not like underpriced. It's just that they're jumping out of a transport and hitting you instead of running up the table. And that transport scouted 6 inches, and then it allowed them to get out 3, and then it allowed them to move 5, and then it allowed them to charge with a reroll if they need it. Each time a model in the unit is destroyed, they fight back on a 4-up. It's so good. I talk about these abilities. The fact that it does it on a 4-up means it's either super impactful or not super impactful. But that's really good to have on this unit. I will take it over a Battle Shock ability any day or some dumb ability. This is pretty good because this makes it makes them wary to charge them. So because they're so easy to kill and they just fight back potentially on a 4-up, this can spike, and it can actually do a ton of damage back to your opponent in return. So if you got these guys behind a wall or something, you're in a position where they actually have to be charged to really be targeted. Yeah, they just fight back on a 4-up. So for 100 points, I think they're pretty fucking good. They will just knock stuff out. Unit after unit after unit after unit is just completely busted. So the Subterranean Explosives. In your shooting phase, after this unit is shot, select one enemy unit that is not a monster or vehicle that was hit by one of this unit's grenade launcher things, the mole grenade, and roll a d6 on a 4+ until the end of your opponent's next turn. That enemy unit is shaken, and while it's shaken, you subtract 2 from the move characteristic, and you subtract 2 from advanced and charge rolls made for it. This is very nice to have on this kind of unit, because this unit wants to get up close, and it wants to, like, fuck shit up. So it shoots its mole launcher at you, maybe it slows you, maybe it doesn't. You have other ones that you can use and try to do that as well. It's got indirect fire as well, so it can shoot over buildings and walls. And yeah, if you got 3 of them, or 2 of them shooting the same target, good chance to make that thing slow, and then you have another one somewhere else, maybe in a later turn or something, because you probably don't want to get them all out at once. All models in this unit can have the heavy plasma axe replaced with the concussion maul, and that is going to be this strength 9 AP 2 and 3 damage one. You can take a twin concussion gauntlet on someone. It's 4 attack, strength 9, AP 1 damage 2 with twin linked. You don't need that, but you can take it on someone. For every 5 models in the unit, 1 model that is not equipped with a twin concussion gauntlet can be equipped with a mole grenade launcher. If it's equipped with that, add 1 to its wounds characteristic and its attacks characteristic. So that's weird. One that is not equipped with a twin concussion gauntlet can be equipped with 1 mole grenade launcher. So it gets that and it gets this. So one of them gets 3 wounds. I forgot about that, which is kind of cool. You can take them in units of 10, but you're going to just probably take them in units of 5, stick them in a Sagitaur, scout it up, laugh at your opponent as they're like, this is bullshit. Alright, so then you have your Hearthkin Pioneers. Scout 9 inches, automatically busted. They're 90 points for 3, so they are 30 points apiece, but you get a pretty beefy profile. 12-inch move, toughness 6 with a 4-up save, 3 wounds, leadership 7, OC of 2. These things have like 3 guns on them. A bolt revolver, which is a pistol at 9 inches, 1 shot, strength 5, AP 0, damage 1. Bolt shotgun, which is an assault weapon. These can advance and you can do actions. They can scout and they can advance and do actions. Automatically, super good unit. But then you have the Magna Coil autocannon. 24-inch range, 3 attacks, strength 7, AP 1, damage 2. Each one of these guys has like all of this. It's outrageous. Not literally, but they have like all these guns. Outflanking mag riders. At the end of your opponent's turn, if they're not within 6 inches of any battlefield edge, if they are within 6 inches of a battlefield edge, and not within engagement range, I got it out, you can put them in, I'm just so excited, you can put this unit into strategic reserves. So basically what bikers have from Chaos, or some other ability that's similar to that. They have to be within 6 inches of a table edge and not within engagement range, popping off the table, coming back on next turn. And then they have these war gear abilities. Each time, the comms raise first. Each time you target the unit, they gain a CP back on a 5-up. Whatever, not great. Ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have ignores cover for the pan-spectral scanner. Very great. So all that shit that I just mentioned, it's basically AP +1 now because it ignores cover. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, that targets a unit that contains 1 or more models with the stealth ability, you add 1 to the hit roll. So that's your roll bar searchlight. So they're +1 to hit stealth units, which is very weird and very niche. Pan-spectral scanner. So for every 3 in the unit, 1 can be equipped with one of the following. If it's equipped with any of these, add 1 to its wound characteristic. Sure, just give them an extra wound, whatever. Whatever, no big deal. High-las rotary cannon or the ion beamer. So which one's better? Probably the rotary cannon. Strength 6, AP 2 basically, because it ignores cover. 6 attacks at a bigger range with sustained hits 1. So you can do that, and then up to 3 different models that are not equipped with either a high-las rotary cannon or an ion beamer can each be equipped with one of the following, to a maximum of 1 per unit. So you can have 2 dudes equipped with one of these. So you're going to take the pan-spectral scanner, most likely, and the roll bar. But let's just think about these for a second. So everybody here, they're all equipped with bolt revolvers, bolt shotguns, and the Magna Coil autocannon, and the plasma knife. So they all have the autocannon. So this is going to be 9 shots coming out of this unit, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, ignoring cover. They're going to have the bolt shotgun. That's going to be 6 shots coming out of this unit, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Ignores cover doesn't matter, but it kind of does because if you're 4-up save, maybe it matters then, or worse. You have the high-las rotary cannon, +1 to hit, +1 to wound, AP 1, ignores cover. This unit scouted up 9 inches and got line of sight on some random scout unit that you put in a place where you thought it was safe. Nope, now it just dies, because this unit was like, hey, we're going to shoot at you, and I'm going to put a judgment token on that unit. Because when you put your judgment tokens down, you're going to want to put them on units like that aren't necessarily going to get them easily, if that makes sense. In certain situations, you're going to want to put them on big, like, killy units that you want to kill. But those big kill units that you want to kill are going to end up killing stuff in your army anyway, and they're going to be generating judgment tokens on themselves. Plus your call can like pick stuff mid-game and stuff like that. So you actually want to be picking some units at least in their army that are not like huge damage dealing units, just ones that you want to maybe get to early on. Just a little tidbit for you there. So yeah, about how this unit is fucking busted. It's 90 points, it scouts 9 inches, it moves 12 inches, so that's a 21-inch move on turn 1 if you need to. And then they just shoot you, they ignore cover, they blow you off the thing. Take 3 units of these. They are mounted, they have grenades, cause why the fuck not? Yeah, they have fly as well. Sagitaur, fuck this thing. Alright, the Sagitaur is now 115 points. This thing went up pretty significantly in terms of points. Not quite 20%, just about like 15% exactly, because it went up 15 out of 100. This thing is fucking bullshit, dude. It moves 12, it's toughness 10, it has 9 wounds and a 3-up save, leadership 7, and OC 3. Just forget all the other weapons on here. All you care about is the high las beam cannon. Its sustained hits D3. It has 2 shots at 24 inches. Hits on 4s, but it actually hits on 3s. It's strength 12, so it's wounding on 3s, but it's usually wounding on 3s or 2s because it's +1 to wound. AP 3 D6 damage. 2 shots apiece on these things. You rolled a hit. Oh look, I hit with both of them. One of them's a 6. Oh look, it's a 3. I got 5 extra shots, or I got 5 total shots with this random fucking weapon. They're +1 to hit. They're +1 to wound. Take 3 to 4 wounds at AP 3 and D6 damage. I have 5 more of these to shoot at you. They also come with a twin bolt cannon. This is a heavy bolter that is twin linked and strength 6. So it's strength 6 AP 1, damage 2, 3 shots, 36 inches, sustained hits 1, twin linked. It's +1 to hit. It's +1 to wound. It's twin linked, so it's re-rolling wounds. So this is actually annoying as well, because this thing can get damage through just annoyingly because it's +1 to hit, +1 to wound, and it's twin linked. It has deadly demise 1, and then it has scout 6 inches. So whatever you put inside this thing can scout 6 inches. Bullshit. Absolute nonsense. Then it has blistering advance. Units can disembark from this transport even after it advanced. Units that do so count as having made a normal move, and they cannot declare a charge, but they can otherwise act normally. So, yeah. Scouts up, advances, drops a unit out, maybe do something with that. Or it just scouts up 6 inches, then guys get out, and then they charge something. These things are insane, because they also have the transport, this transport ability here. They can transport 6 infantry units. They cannot transport exo frame or exo armor guys. But at the start of the declared battle formation step, you can select one Hearthguard warrior unit from your army and split it into 2 units, each containing 5 models. One of these models must start the battle embarked within the transport, the other can start embarked within another transport, or it can be deployed separately. Yeah, these things make me want to freak out. They are so outrageously good. Now that they're 115 points, they aren't as good as they were before, because even taking 5 of them, you're over 600 points at that point, right? Are you over 600 points? You're not over 600 points. So before you could take 6 of them for 600 points, because they were 100 points. Now you take 5 of them for 575. So there's a place now for the land fortress to actually be competitive with one of these, because you can take one of those, you can take 2 of these for one of those. You used to be able to. But it's like less expensive now, right? Let me just look. Yeah, so a land fortress is 225, so it's less points than 2 Sagitaurs. But a land fortress doesn't have these silly beam cannons on them, and a land fortress doesn't split your guys, and a land fortress doesn't scout 6 inches. These are still good for 115 points. I fucking hate these things so much. Oh my god. Even having to deal with 5 of them, it's just like, fuck you, because they all are toughness 10. They're not even toughness 9, and they're OC 3 instead of like OC 2. Fucking bullshit, dude. Alright, let's move on to the Brokir Thunderkin. The Thunder Boys, the Thunder Thighs, they are movement of 5, toughness of 6 with 3 wounds apiece and a 3-up save. So they're basically a Gravis that's +1. No, they are a Gravis. They're a Gravis in every way, basically. Yeah, move 5, toughness 6, 3 wounds, 3-up save. They're Gravis Marines. These Gravis Marines can take bolt cannons. Don't worry about that. The gravitation blast cannon, worry about this. It's anti-vehicle 2+ and blast. It's got an 18-inch range, so not super great range, but it's D6 shots apiece, hitting on 4s, but actually hitting on 3s. Strength 5, AP 2, and damage 2. Except it's actually going to be +1 to wound. And it's actually going to have sustained hits too. So, yeah. Let's say, so you got a 6-man unit of these guys, right? Which are only 180 points, I think? 170 points. 85 points for 3 of these things. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Each time they fire Overwatch, they hit on a 5. That's right. These guys Overwatch on 5-ups. Like, they're 170 points for 6 of them. Please explain to me. Please explain to me how I'm paying, like, more than that for the Eradicators, when every time I shoot my Eradicators, they bounce off whatever they're shooting at somehow. These are crazy, because they're anti-vehicle 2+. The blast is just weird, because if you shoot at, like, an infantry unit or something, they're getting a bunch of extra shots. But, yeah, giving these sustained hits too, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. You don't need the +1 to wound, but, like, the sustained hits too. It's so good, dude. It's so good. So, they can also take Conversion Beamer. Don't worry about that one either. It does have sustained hits D3, but it's only 1 shot. Being able to Overwatch on 5-ups is outrageous. It's outrageous. Like, they have D6 shots apiece. They're flamers, basically. They're not actually flamers, but they have D6 shots apiece. So, you're looking at 4 shots a guy on average. 3 to 4. 3.5 is the average. If you get 6 of them in a unit, I don't know. What is that? It's 4 is 14, plus another 7, call it 7. So like 21 hits, and then 7 actual hits on an Overwatch. If you're Overwatching a vehicle, you're wounding on 2s. It's AP 2, so they can't Armor of Contempt on an Overwatch, so they're getting a 4-up save probably. Yeah, these guys are just really, really good. Very, very strong. Super duper Superman strong. So these guys can all take Gravitation Blasters. That's all you need to know. You can attach a Brokir Iron Guy to them, give them +1 to hit, but you don't need it because of your Judgment tokens that are probably going to be on the unit you're shooting. Alright, Land Fortress. Last thing on here, 225 points for this thing. Moves 10, toughness 12, 2-up save, 16 wounds, leadership 7, OC 5. That may sound familiar. That's because it's basically the same as a Land Raider, the only difference being the leadership is 6. Now, if you're playing like a Redeemer, like I do, they move 12, but regular Land Raiders only move 10. This thing is a Land Raider. What does this thing do? It transports stuff, and it's got a lot of guns, but it doesn't have enough guns, in my opinion. So, this is what it's got. I'm going to go down to its stuff here first. It's got a Cyclic Ion Blaster, an autocannon, 2 bolt guns, armored wheels, and the scanner. So the Cyclic Ion Blaster, that's D6 plus 3 attacks, hits on 4s but hits on 3s, strength 9, AP 2, and 2 damage. Wish it was 3 damage, that's a little annoying that it's not. +1 to wound with that is pretty nice, but the AP 2 isn't great, but this thing can also get Ignores Cover. So it is actually AP 3 for all intents and purposes. The Heavy Magna Rail Rifle has a 30-inch range. Makes sense if you don't think about it. 18 strength, AP 4, D6 plus 6 damage with dev wounds, and heavy. So that's pretty cool. Then you have the Conversion Beamer. It's conversion, and then it beams. It sustained hits 3s, 2 shots, strength 10, AP 2, damage 4. +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Damage 4 is pretty nice to have. AP 2, it's going to be AP 3 because it ignores cover, so that's probably a pretty good one. Sustained hits D3 on this as well. So if you do get a 6 to hit, it's going to be getting you D3 extra hits with this that are +1 to wound at AP 2, ignores cover, and 4 damage. The conversion thing though, each time an attack is made with this weapon, if the target is more than 12 inches away from the bearer, an unmodified successful hit roll of 4+ scores a critical hit. So if you get lucky and you get 2 4-ups to hit with this thing, you're going to get 2d3 extra shots. So right now you have 2, and then you're going to get another 4, and you have 6 wounds, or 6 like hits. +1 to wound with those. That's going to be hopefully 3 to 4 wounds, depending on what you're shooting at, if it's something tough. 3 to 4 wounds at AP 3. 3 of those should go through. That's 12 damage. Now that's high on average, obviously. You're likely going to get 1 hit with this, maybe a hit with this, and then a 4-up on the other one. So definitely 1 hit, but 1 will be a 4-up. Average of 2, so you're looking at 4 hits with this, +1 to wound. Hopefully that's 2 or 3 wounds, and then you're looking at like 8 damage-ish. That actually seems like maybe one of the better ones, simply because of your +1 to wound mechanic. Then it has twin bolt cannons and twin ion beamers. The bolt cannon is the heavy bolter thing. It's twin linked, sustained hits 1, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. Strength 6, AP 1, damage 2 with 3 shots at 36. Or you can take the sustained hits D3 twin ion thing. This is twin linked as well with 3 shots. Strength 7, AP 2, but only damage 1. So I'm not big on that one. You probably just take the 2 damage weapon, the twin bolt cannon. That's probably the one that you go with on this thing. This has not as many guns as a Land Raider, or as effective guns as a Land Raider. And then it's got Deadly Demise D6, and then Fire Support. This is another reason why it's pretty good. In your shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one or more units that hit, basically. And then the units that disembark from this get to reroll wounds. So we've seen this ability on a lot of different data sheets and a lot of different indexes, but that's really nice, because the things that this can transport are good. And getting +1 to wound with them, or reroll to wound with them with +1 to wound, is very, very good. And it's any attack. So it doesn't have to be shooting. It could be combat as well. If this thing shoots at you, you can just be +1 or rerolling wounds against them and +1. Probably being able to get out after it moved is better, just like what a Land Raider has, like the assault ramp thing. But I'll take this. Getting out and getting reroll wounds on the target on something this big that can transport a whole bunch of guys, I'll take that. Now, it's got the autocannon. Yeah, it just doesn't have enough guns. It's got the cyclic, the autocannon. Did I talk about the autocannon? Mater autocannon. 6 shots at strength 7, AP 1, damage 2. Keep the bolt cannons, I think. Yeah, keep the bolt cannons. Its cyclic ion thing can be replaced with the SB conversion beamer. So do that. I think that's the better option. I do think so. And then its pan-spectral scanner can be replaced with a warhead. Don't do that. Keep Ignores Cover, because you also do have the Mater autocannon, which is going to be basically AP2, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. It's 2 damage. It's basically 2 of the Magna Rail autocannons that the Pioneers have. These units are all so fucking good, dude. It's just ridiculous. This thing is a transport. It can transport 12 infantry. Each exo armor takes up the space of 2. Each exo frames takes up the space of 3. This thing, with Armor of Contempt on it, is really, really good. Really, really good. This thing falling back and shooting, really good. This thing getting sustained hits too. Pretty good, although it doesn't stack on the one weapon. Okay, so reactive reprisal. If you shoot my land fortress and don't kill it, it can shoot back at you. That's really good. Obviously, void armor on anything is going to be really good. It'll be good on your Land Raider fortress. It'll be good on your Iron Heater Hearthguard. It'll be good probably on really anything. Probably your Thunderkin as well, because they are only a 3-up save. So if they're in cover, getting hit by AP2, they're still on a 3-up save, which is pretty nice. Yeah, like everything in this army is stupid and overpowered. Your army's basically going to be like a unit of Hearthguard that's split in half. It's going to be like 5 Sagitaurs, 2 units of the Pioneer things, and like 2 units of Terminators with guys attached. I don't actually know if that fits, but it'll be something like that. Or it'll be like that same exact thing, except you'll have 2 land fortresses and like 2 Sagitaurs maybe. They're just Eldar. Like, they're just Eldar. They're +1 to hit, +1 to wound, like all the time practically. They have good deep striking units. They have good secondary units, like their Pioneers. They're a little expensive. They're not overpriced, but they're expensive for what they are. And 90 points for a secondary unit obviously is not what you want to be paying, but they can hop on and off the table. They have a ton of guns. They have 3 wound dudes and a 4 wound dude. So they're pretty good. They're toughness 6. They're durable enough. They're completely worth their points. They're actually undercosted probably. Yeah, considering that a bike squad for Chaos is 85 points, this unit is 90 points. Has more guns than they do. Ignores cover. What else do? They can scout 9. That's what it is. Yeah, so being able to scout 9, super duper good. They've got some good ass stuff in here. Your whole army is scouting with Sagitaurs. Like, you have Sagitaurs with the Chthonian Berserks inside. You do things like Warrior's Pride on the Chthonian Berserks and just kill a unit dead. Then they kill your Chthonian Berserks, and if they charge your Chthonian Berserks, like if you kill a unit that's kind of like in a weird spot and you're behind a wall or you're just in a safe place and they have to charge them, they're going to fight back to you on a 4+. You can do this with your Terminators as well, giving these guys +1 or +2 to their AP in the fight phase, that makes their mass hammers AP4, I think, right? That's what we said earlier, and they're +1 to wound probably. Your call is going to be giving out all of those judgment tokens every phase. The other dude is going to be picking an objective, and your opponent's going to count as having one more on it. Like, dude, you can just crush people with this army. You can fall back and shoot with anything in your army that you want. Land Raider, Sagitaur, Terminators. They're eligible to shoot and declare a charge. So if you try to lock them up, or if they lock up something and you stayed in combat with them, like something that survives somehow, you can just fall back in your turn and you can still shoot and you can still charge. Why? Shooting back at people, I hear, is pretty good, because this doesn't say that it has to destroy a unit. Just after an enemy unit finishes attacking, one leagues a Votann unit that was selected as the target of one or more of those units' attacks. Your unit can shoot as if we're in the shooting phase, but it can only target that unit. Like, there's no clause in here for it to have lost like unit or models, or for it to have been taken below half strength. It's just 2 CP, I get to shoot at you again. Newfound Nemesis. I don't even care, but it's pretty good as well. Like I said, it's the worst one in here. You just get to put a judgment token on something that's already going to get one, basically. And then the Void Armor, good on everything. This army doesn't have a whole lot of units. It's got a very small amount of units that are all really, really overpowered. But yeah, like, sustained hits. Don't care what you put that on. This thing, the Ancestral Sentience. Ancestral Sentence. You're just getting sustained hits too, because your call is going to pick something, or you're going to pick an objective marker that does stuff, or you're just going to have stuff on them anyway. They're going to have judgment tokens on them. So your whole army benefits from that. Obviously, it's better on some things than others. Stratagems are usually best on big units, because big units benefit the most from stratagems. That's just very obvious. So when you have big units of Terminators that are getting sustained hits too, that's going to be your best target for that. The Thunderkin, really good target for that. I'm actually, yeah, like, that's just crazy, dude. This is only in your shooting phase though, yeah. What else? On land fortresses, getting sustained hits too might be kind of cool. Even on your troops with their little blasty guns, that could be good as well. So I didn't see anything in here that gave you battle tactic stuff for free, so I guess there isn't anything that does that. So kind of a shame, but I'm not complaining. I'm actually complaining a lot, because this army is completely ridiculous. But overall, they're just very, very good. Because they have a small amount of units, the armies are going to look very similar. They're literally going to be land fortresses or Sagitaurs, and then Terminators, and the Chthonian Berserks, or the Thunderkin. Like, some variation of those things, and the Pioneers as well, which pretty much covers the whole fucking army. So every army is going to look the same, because there's like 5 units in this army, and they're all completely fucking overpowered. We also know that these are good, so the Appraising Glare, just pick an objective, get an extra judgment token, and then the Grim Demeanor, ignore modifiers to tests and stuff like that. Really, really strong for the combat specifically, because then you're always going to be 2 damage, and that's good. You don't want to be -1 damaging stuff. This allows them to punch on things like Catan or Leviathan Dreadnoughts, things that have like -1 damage or half damage. Avatar of Cain. These guys are +1 to wound the Avatar of Cain, +1 to hit the Avatar of Cain, hitting him on 2s, wounding him on 4s. Oh my god, dude. He just takes damage. Anyway, I think that wraps it up for me. If you guys liked this video, leave a comment down below. Smash it with a judgment token. Subscribe to our channel. Hit Nurgle's bell icon. Check out our other videos as well. I guess I'm gonna go jump on Santa's sleigh. Yeah, I'm done.